Today is the 16th day in October 2023. I almost said 2022. In fact, I had said 2022 earlier on. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Vaso Abaseki, and I'm delighted to be here with you today and share parts of my experiences, gists, life lessons, my life lessons, corrections, preventive measures that I had to take, and so on and so forth. It's been a wonderful day. I had to do something that I've never done before. Don't worry, I won't tell you what it is. So don't worry yourself. Anywho, I hope your day was wonderful and I hope it's still going on well. I want to talk about anger. I remember a show where Steve Harvey was trying to it was one of his family shows, and the guy was saying anger. And I'm like, anger? And he's like, when you are angry, say, oh, anger. You mean anger? Oh God. I went through a session with. I did a study some weeks back, and it occurred to me that I actually saw some things about anger that a lot of us don't really realize. Anger is an emotion. It's and I'm not speaking as a therapist, so I'm just trying to let you see some of the things that you can do to help yourself. It's just one of those things. Anger is an emotion. It's sometimes it can be referred to as frustration, irritation. We've all felt the power of this very strong emotion, and we've lived to regret the speed with which we respond to them. Trust me, I have regretted a lot of it, and I hate regrets. I do hate regrets. So basically, anger really comes as a result of some hopes and some dreams that we want. It's a sign that one of your hope or your dream is being threatened. When you get angry at something that happens to you, it's always because of something is happening inside of you. It's not necessarily because of what's happening outside of you. It's not a sin. It's just a sign. It's a sign that one of your hopes and maybe dream is being threatened. And there are 3 specific hopes and dreams that we all have. We want security, we want connection, and we want control. And security in the sense that you want physical security, you want financial security, you want emotional security. The connection could be your relationship, feeling valued, and the feeling of being accepted. For the control, the feeling of feeling empowered to make choices and have options. When you feel like these dreams and hopes are being threatened, it leads to anger, and this anger might not be. It doesn't come at once. Sometimes it's been built up. It could have been built up from the past. Maybe your past relationships, your past jobs, maybe your church, your the fact that you feel you should be somewhere, a particular place you should be at that particular time, and you are not there yet. When you start feeling that threat, your brain starts to shift. It shifts away from the problem solving part of your brain. I think that's called prefrontal cortex or something. When you start feeling that threat, your brain shifts away from the problem solving part of your brain, and it tilts towards the threat. At that point, all your rational and reasonable thoughts basically shuts down. That's why sometimes it's very important to step away, take a deep breath, calm down, and start to think straight again. Excuse me. James in the Bible was talking about letting everybody, said in the book of James 1:19-20, said, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Lie, it will not. You need to take a moment, take a step back, and think about practical and healthy ways you can calm yourself down when you get angry or irritated. It's as a result of irritation also. Like I said, anger could be frustration, irritation, taking a deep breath. For me, it's music. There's a particular artist that Jonathan McReynolds, some of his songs, they inspire me to be calm and have a retrospect of my surrounding. So when you do this, you are telling your brain to respond in such a way that it doesn't cause you to sin. Trust me, I know friendships that I have ruined because of anger. I know relationships, friendships that I have ruined because of anger. And let me share a story with you. Let me try and see if I can read it. I was a few cars back at a stoplight recently, and the light turned green, but nobody moved. I know how this can really feel. I patiently waited for 1.7 seconds. 1.7 seconds. Then I laid on my horn. Why are we not moving? The guy in front of me offered a conciliatory gesture with his middle finger. I kept honking. Then I saw it. An older gentleman was rolling across the intersection as fast as he could in a wheelchair. I felt foolish. I didn't have all the facts. I just reacted. I felt a threat to my sense of control over the situation. Laying on the horn made me feel like I was doing something. Back in control, but I regretted it in the end. This is what usually happens. You don't usually have the full picture, and sometimes you might not trust the person giving you the full picture at that point in time enough to narrate or give you the full picture, and sometimes you feel foolish in the end. You feel foolish in the end when you've reacted. And someone used to tell me that I should try, then when I used to tell me that I should try and hold my reaction first, react later. And these things happen as a result of bottled up emotions from my teenage years till when I was a full grown man, and they had accumulated because of disappointments that I felt about issues that I felt I should have handled, and I let somebody else handle, trusting someone. I still remember when I used to do web design and web development very well. I remember someone, his name is let me not call his name, I've healed from it. He called me one day and he's like, need to learn some other things. This web development you are doing doesn't pay anymore. And I really trusted him. He was almost like a mentor to me. And I was like, okay. Let me go and learn something else. And a year or two down the line, this same person called me. I'm like, sure you can still do it. I said, no, I can't. I don't know how to do it. It's what he's paying now. I felt frustrated. I felt really angry. You can see how as trivial as that conversation looked. This was like 2015, 16. You can see how even till now, 2023, I still remember it vividly. These are bottled up emotions, and things like this, having to have other things accumulated, would now spur up to become a full-blown tree of anger, because now I have had a lot of disappointments, a lot of perspective change, messed up perspectives. I mean, one of my friends still makes still makes websites. He's married now. He doesn't do any of that thing. Okay, he does graphics, but it's the website that pays him money. It pays him money. It's how he feeds his family. You know, when you feel angry, getting angry, they just, rather than reacting, maybe you should ask yourself, am I understanding this situation? What am I not understanding about this situation? You know, you probably find out that there are some details that you did not understand. You know, and if things were really as you thought at the beginning, you end up seeing that you find a better way to approach it with a gentle and more controlled response, which means you will have much more chance of resolving the situation in a healthier way, you know, which is one thing I didn't have it. You can see an example of Cain and Abel in the Bible. You can see what happened. Anger is just a sign that something needs to be addressed. It can be used for good, it can be used for evil, you know, but that's why it's called anger management. So you are actually managing your anger to suit the situation perfectly, so that you are addressing the situation and you're not killing the people in the situation. I don't know if you understand, but anger can be used for good, you know, when we see it as a warning light that there are some things that we need to surrender to God ultimately, whether it's insecurity, whether it's security, whether it's connection or control. You know, God's love is the source. You know, we will find everything in Him: security, control, connection. We'll find it all in Him. You know, I used to remember when I would hit my hand on my table when I'm angry at someone. You know, back then it almost felt like God was teaching me. Before I got to experience that my phase of anger, then we would have classes where they would tell you that when you see two people shouting at each other and they are standing just feet away from each other, maybe 5 or 3 feet away from each other, it's not because the other person is not hearing them. It's because they feel like the person is distant from them. They feel like that person is far away from them, and they feel that shouting will help that person hear them and understand what they are saying better. And it's what anger can do. I remember someone that I was trying to talk to the person. We're in my house, sat down on the bed, and we're talking, and this person just stood up and was just ranting, raising. I'm like, don't raise your voice at me. I was really calm, like really calm. Don't raise your voice at me. Sit down and communicate if you want to communicate. All this one you're shouting, I don't understand. I was really calm, and in less than 10 minutes, the person was the one begging me to be calm. And that incident led me to sending that person out of my house. Literally sending that person out of my house. And I burnt 2 bridges that same day. I burnt 2 bridges and built a very high wall. And it caused that person a lot of devastation and led the person to doing things that he would normally not do. Not like I was in control of the person's life, but if that wasn't the situation at that point in time, those things wouldn't have materialized. Come to think of it, sometimes we think that our actions don't really have it doesn't really have a chain reaction, kind of. So we just do certain things and we're like, first do the one that is in your mind first. Was it actually a movie or was it real? I can't recall. I heard somebody saying the person said we don't ask for permission, we ask for forgiveness. And I'm like, no, come on. Don't do that. There are people that are like that. They rather ask you for forgiveness than reaction, because they know that than permission. Because they know that with forgiveness they can manipulate you. Speaking of manipulation, one of these days I'll speak about manipulation. They know they can manipulate you. So with forgiveness, it's not this small thing. Forgive now. Abba, we are humans. To err is human, to forgive is divine. It's crazy when you have to forgive things like this, especially anger. It's crazy, and trust me, it's not fun. It's not fun. I saw a video of a lady using sellotape to fix back a wine glass that she probably had broken or something. I don't know what happened to the glass, but it was broken, and she was trying to fix it together. And when it looked like it was standing again, she poured wine inside and tried to drink, but I don't think 2% of the wine entered her mouth. And what that means is, when trust is destroyed, when relationships are destroyed, yes, it might look as if it's still standing at some point. Just a matter of time before the content you keep filling it with shows the crack and gives way. It's not like that glass cannot be fixed, but what will fix it is intense pressure. Heat is what will fix it. Is what will fix that glass. And not everybody has that capacity. Not everybody has that patience to go through the fire process, because the glass will need to be tried again. It will need to be tried again with fire. It will be tried by fire, and if it can stand, then you have yourself a new glass, a brand new glass. So, in conclusion, anger it's an emotion and it can be controlled. I'm speaking from my own experience. I don't know anybody's experience. I'm just speaking from my own experience. It can be controlled, but when you allow yourself, if you let yourself go, like me, when I was angry, and I'm hoping that never happens in my life again, because I know back then when we talk about anger management, we'll be like, it could never be me. I remember 2009, there was some guy that I was just talking about. I remember his face, but I can't remember his name. He's talking about he needs books on anger management, that he knows that he has anger issues. And my man, I'm like, it can never be me. It can never be me. Hey, God with the sense of humor. Like literally everything I had said from from when I was little till my 20s, going close to the end of my 20s, I have experienced them in the past 4 years. I've experienced them in a Shaggy Banza kind of level, like this anger issue, for example. Like I didn't even, and that's the thing. When you are going through that phase, when you are that person who is angry, you wouldn't see it the way people outside would see it. I know someone that if he just comes into the gathering, I'm out of there, I'm walking away. Not because the person is a bad person, but every time I'm in that space, he always tries to counter everything I say. He always want to show superiority around me, and I'm not in competition with you. A few Sundays back, we were in church and we were having a conversation, and I was at the center of the whole conversation, and I was just praying that I just get out of there. And as soon as he came into the conversation, I whispered to someone, I said, look, this conversation is going to be taken over by this person. True to it, he took over the conversation. And each time I tried to chip in, he would say, no, wait, let me say, you don't understand. Let me explain this thing to you. Oh, he's older and it's who he is. So that thing stirs up anger within me. But because I now know what I'm capable of doing and what happens to me, when such a situation happens, when it comes around, I just shut up and I walk away. And if it's somewhere that I have to stay, I will just mute. I won't even talk. We've been in meetings like that and I will just keep quiet. If you ask me a question, I will answer. If by the time I've stayed there for 10-15 minutes, I will excuse myself and walk away. Because you know the things that make you angry. You know where the anger comes from. So why do you want to keep stirring it up? These are issues. These are cases. Few days back, after I've tried to deal with this whole thing. I was out and I had to deal with some foreign bodies, and immediately I raised my voice. The first 3 words I said, I got caution in my spirit immediately, like, I thought you were not doing this. And I'm like, Father, I'm sorry. Peace. And I found myself lost in thoughts, thinking nothing really, but thinking everything that does not concern that conversation. I was getting lost. Normally, if it was me, months, years back, it is well. It is well. I went out with someone and it was a lady, and we went to an eatery, and I had waited for the lady for like 2-3 hours, and I was really getting frustrated. This was like sometime last year or so, and the waiter kept coming to talk to me. Like, what's up? Do you want to order? When are you placing your order? And I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm waiting for someone, And for the 4th time, she came, and I'm like, when this person come, I promise I'll let you know. I'm not even doing anything special, And when the person I was waiting for came, it was less than 30 seconds. This waiter came again, and I was like, sorry, can you give us 5 minutes later? And she's like, my manager wants to know. I'm like, what do you mean? The person I've been waiting for just came. She's saying, yeah, she knows that she understands, but she also knows that I was getting infuriated. And the person I was with was now beginning to get feel sad that she had cost. Of course, she needed to feel sad. God kept me waiting for 2 hours plus. But that's not the point. The point was, at that moment, I was ready to flare up. Like, I was ready to flare up. Like, how can I understand your business perspective? But why would you keep disturbing? Why is it now that this lady has come and you want to embarrass me? Are you going to force me into ordering and all that? But you see, in hindsight, when I think about that situation, I can now think about it from the fact that, from the point that it's a business and they have their policies. But at that moment, I wasn't thinking that way. I had to stand up, walk out, come back, went to me, look for the manager. I didn't see the manager she was talking about. And I spoke with the manager that I found. And I tried to explain to the manager, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it's fine. I understand. I just wanted to let you know that this person, I was now trying to save the person's job in case it was at risk because of my being there. And believe you me, at every point in time, that waitress was always coming to our table and I was asking if we had anything we needed again. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I handled it the best way, but I'm saying that in situations like this, taking a step back, calming yourself down, and viewing everything all over again can really help. And I'm actually still talking to myself because I'm still human and anything can happen. If you just shout for person head tomorrow now. But the point I'm saying is, funny thing is sometimes I come back to my podcast to listen to the things I've said before. And they help me to navigate life. Point I'm making is anger is an emotion and you have to keep your emotions in check. And it's something that you can handle. It's not bigger than you. It's not bigger than your control. And when you feel like you're losing control of your emotions and your feelings on how you feel about issues, take a step back. And if the person, I know some ladies, they don't like it when their spouses take a step back and want to calm down. And when you're taking that step back, make sure you try and communicate with the person. This is not just relationship. I'm feeling really angry right now. I need some moment to take a step back. I know it's really hard to say these words. Like, it's hard, but it's important so that the person in question understands that you need to go refresh, reboot, restart your mind, restart your thinking, restart your heart at that point in time, and it would help. It will help. I remember one time that, and I till tomorrow I regret that action. My girlfriend came over and I know somebody that will say you're always talking about your ex. My ex came over and I was really mad at her. I had to leave the house for her for 3 days. Came all the way from outside Lagos. I left the house for 3 days. I didn't feel anyhow at some point. But when she was at the airport and she was leaving, I could see the pain in her eyes, like, you did me a strong thing. And I didn't feel anyhow. In my mind, I was still brooding over the young guy. Yes, you offended me, blah, 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 blah. But months down the line, I realized that was messed up. Really messed up. It was really messed up and I shouldn't have done that. I'm able to see all these things now because now I've let go of all these emotions and I'm still doing the same. I'm in the process and it's important that we share. Sharing is the best way to learn. Have a wonderful evening. I love you, but God loves you much more than you can imagine. Stay away from anger. If you have to be in anger, use it for the right purposes. Okay? God loves you. Bye.